travel back to Clifton to see my old friends, the best people I could ever have met.
One of your songs, called Two Fingers, is about leaving Clifton, where you're from in Nottingham, and flying off maybe to America. How important is that song to you?
I wanted to write about, how I felt at the time and my experiences of growing up. And it was quite ironic, really, because when I wrote the song, I was still living in Nottingham, and I hadn't gotten out at all. But by writing that song, I think it's about being honest, and that helped me to progress and pursue in my career.
You've had a #1 album, you've got sold-out tours. Is that difficult to deal with at just 18?
Since I kind of picked up the guitar, I knew this is what I wanted to do, and kind of all I imagined myself doing, and I dreamt of doing this for years.
The Iron Lady, or as she could become, the Bronze Lady. These artists' impressions of Margaret Thatcher are out today to show examples of how a statue could look outside Grantham Museum. Fundraising for the £200,000 has already started for the statue and improving how the museum remembers the former Prime Minister in her hometown. Well, I've taken the long and winding road to get back to this former hotel where the Beatles stayed for lunch in 1964. Vivian and her mum are still Beatles fans, especially since they met all of them. It was 1964 and Beatlemania was everywhere. The group were heading north to start a tour when they stopped off to eat at a hotel at Sutton-on-Trent in Nottinghamshire. Vivian's mum was working there.
Paul McCartney stopped and said, "Does the little girl want a photo?" And he asked me to run over, so I ran over and stood by him, and he waited and had his picture taken with me. And that's my favourite. That's something I really treasure.
A very good morning to you. I'm Simon Ward with the BBC News here in the East Midlands. A new report claims that 60 to 70 older patients a day are being kept in hospital in Nottingham because there's nowhere else for them to go if they're discharged. Good evening. Well, I'm in Sheepy Magna, where, as you can see, it's dry at the moment. In fact, people enjoying an evening pint, but they're all set here at the Black Horse pub. They've got the sandbags ready because it's been a difficult time for some people. In fact, villagers are concerned about more flooding in the next few days. The ceiling is one of the most striking features of the building. People who want to save the old Regent showed me around. They plan to fundraise, but believe a big donation could be the answer.
If we do know somebody that maybe would like to invest, or a benefactor to come forward, please do, because we would welcome you with open arms.
The front of the building may be kept, but planning permission's already been given for it to be knocked down to make way for a supermarket car park. The developer says that would benefit the local economy, and it could happen soon. Simon Ward, BBC East Midlands Today, Hinckley.
So we go and see where Grandad used to go?
Adrian Lloyd is in search of fresh art materials with the help of his daughter Anya. He's an artist that's very down to earth. And it's the soil here at Swingate in Nottinghamshire they're after. Adrian's father Brian used to play in this very spot back in the 1930s. It was his muddy-faced picture and childhood stories that inspired Adrian to become an organic artist. Back home in Orsworth, it's time to grind down the soil.
Obviously you have to remove all of the stones and the grit and the leaves and the bits off the trees, etc. Probably about 40-45 teaspoons, I would estimate, for a portrait about the size of mine.
Adrian then mixes the earth with water and also adds a binding agent, but he's keeping that a secret.
Just in the same way that the earth used to stain my father's clothes, this is now completely released, the same as the mud was that he used to play in as a boy.
This was Adrian's first effort, a picture of his daughter when she was a baby. A moody-looking self-portrait is another large-scale work in soil art.
They are not welcome in our town, and they never will be welcome in our town.
Today's Peace Festival was an attempt to unite the people of Leicester. Yesterday, more than 1,000 members of the English Defence League protested in the city. The EDL says it's against radical Islamic views. Billy Bragg lent his support by performing at the festival and speaking out against the EDL.
I'm certainly proud that a city like Leicester thrives in our country. It's one of the things that makes me proud to be English. But this, you can never take any of this for granted. These people are everywhere, and, down the generations, each generation has had to confront the racist.